Hello YouTube, Ulandos here, and I'm going to be showing you how to tame dinosaurs in ARK Survival Evolved. To give you an idea of what you can achieve, we have a Brontosaurus, we've got a mammoth over here, we've got a few trikes over here, we've got a Carno over here, we've got a Stegosaurus over here, we've got a massive T-Rex over here, we've got a pterodactyl over there, we've got a flying chicken up there. That's not actually what it's called, but you know, and we have a little Lamborghini here. So first I'm going to show you how to tame herbivores and then carnivores. So we'll do a herbivore first and then we'll do the carnivores, and I've also put up the taming speed to make this process a whole lot fun to watch, because to be honest, taming is not fun. It is once you get it tamed, but the actual taming process is very tedious in my opinion. So let's get started. Okay guys, here we go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to locate some sort of dinosaur. Herbivore, preferably for the first half of this video. And then we'll do a carnivore. It's basically the same thing, but I'll get to the carnivores when I get to the carnivores. There's a trike right here. And he's level 48. Personally, you don't want to try level 48. First off, you definitely don't want to. Because the more higher the level, generally, the more higher the topor level. And the topor level means how much... topor is like, you have to get their topor all the way down by bashing into them with a slingshot, necrotic arrows, or your fist. And the more higher the level the creature, the more topor it has. So it's going to be more difficult to knock them out. And also the higher the level creature, the higher the amount of taming time it'll take. So let's try and knock this guy out. But before we do that, we want to get at least maybe 200 to 300 berries. Anyway, in between there. And if you don't have the ability to make necrotics, which is a drug that you can learn through the engrams, which you learn the mortar and pestle first, and then you learn necrotic, which you basically use the berries for. You want to have about at least maybe 100 necro berries. And then as it's knocked out and you're using the necro berries on it to keep it asleep, you want to consistently keep on gathering berries just in case and just to be safe. Also, you want to make sure you do this in a good spot, because if it's knocked out and a carnivore comes up to you, it's going to change target and actually go for the one you're taming. Ow. You want to make sure it's nice and safe, because the carnivores, if you leave your thing unattended, the carnivores will start eating the unconscious animal you're taming, so... Gotta be very careful. Alright. So how many berries have we got? That's fine. Generally with herbivores, their favorite berries are the mejo berries and the azul berries. There's actually a graph on the wiki that you can check out. And with the triceratops, let me check which one's which again. Yeah, so with the trike, it's a mejo berry, but with some others, it's mejo berry and azul berries. But basically, their favorite food, we'll get to that once we knock him out. Alright, so I could use a slingshot if I want to. I can use a bow if I want to. I can use my fists if I want to. Preferably don't want to use fists. The earliest option is probably going to the slingshot. So you probably want to get some stones. Okay, we've got a few stones. Let's do this. You also don't really want to get hit by these guys. They hit like a truck. Remember not to actually stab at him or anything. Make sure to only use your fists or something like a slingshot with stones or necrotic arrows. It's probably your best bet. Okay, so... it's rinse and repeat until he passes out, since he's level 47, and you're not really meant to take on them if you're level 1. So let me actually take out my crossbow with the necrotic arrows, and also there's a little tip for you when you start leveling up. The amount of damage your weapon does with the necrotic arrow is how much topor it'll take down. Like, the crossbow compared to the bow will take a lot more topor down, because the crossbow's got a lot more kick in it. So actually using the crossbow compared with the bow is a lot better. I was worried that maybe you're doing too much damage, but apparently it works better that way. There we go, he's down. That would have taken a little bit longer with the stone slingshot thing, but, you know. Make it easy. Okay, now that he's out cold, let's have a look. Torpor level is in the bottom right. Do not let that hit 0 or he'll wake up. Okay? That's probably the key one. You also want to watch out that no carnivores come near here. And if they do, and you miss them and you don't realise that they are there, you turn your back for 1 second, you'll see like a little Dilo start nipping at his bum, and eventually he'll eat him and he'll be gone. And then you won't have the dino anymore. So be careful of the carnivores. Okay, so he's unconscious. It's a male. Alright, let's get started. So, okay, this is where the favourite foods come in. You can chuck any berry in there if you want. But depending on what level it is, if you want to get some bonus levels out of it, let's see. Let's chuck in his favourite food. There's taming effectiveness. If we keep giving his favourite food until he gets tamed, and he doesn't take any damage whatsoever, and no one hurts him, and he's perfectly fine, he's going to be a level 71 when he wakes up, and he's tamed. So that's ideally probably the best sort of thing you want. But if you don't really care about the level at all, you don't have to worry about the taming effectiveness. But I have noticed that the taming effectiveness does affect how much time it takes. Usually the higher the effectiveness, the less time it takes to tame the dino. And most times with herbivores at this size, maybe 40 minutes minimum. And yeah, that's what I meant by it's a tedious process. So he's already eaten some mejo berries. I'm going to chuck some other berries in there just in case he eats through all the mejo berries. But he's always going to go for the mejo berry first. So, and make sure you don't run out of food, because once you run out of food, that taming meter will start to decrease. So all that progress will just start ending. Okay. Here are our nacro berries. Now, to actually make him eat the nacro berries and keep him asleep, the nacro berries are like, they keep you asleep. So you click on them and then use remote use item and watch the topor down here. Topor rises up by about 5 per nacro berry. And for the sake of this video, I've made some drugs, which are just 5 nacro berries and a spoiled meat. And it's the exact same as using 5 nacro berries. And it brings the topor up by 40. So now your ideal situation is to keep him very safe and keep gathering berries, and preferably his most favourite if you really care about taming effectiveness. If you don't, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, there's also another thing you can do to keep them unconscious. If worse comes to worse, you can punch them in the head. That's going to bring down the taming effectiveness drastically. It's the same basically as something else attacking it as well. So if I were to punch it, I really don't want to punch it, but I'll just do it for the sake. There we go. It went down to plus 22 level, and the taming effectiveness went down, but his topor went up when I punched him. So you really don't want to do that. And let me actually get a torch so you guys can see. Okay guys, got a torch ready and going. And you're always just going to come back every now and then and check in on him. This taming process is going to be a lot more faster for me than it is for you. You can put it up in the settings if you really want to. I put it up because I just find it so boring. And you will notice that taming effectiveness up there, just right there. I'm going off a bit off topic right now. But you can see that it's actually decreasing a tiny bit. That's natural. It's meant to decrease a tiny bit every so often. But it will decrease faster if you hurt him. So yeah, I just want to keep him filled with the mejo berries. And getting back to what I was saying, yeah, this should take a lot more long. The time that it takes for me to tame it should be drastically longer for you, because I'm just upping it for the video and for my own sake, because I can't stand the normal time. But yeah, you're going to need at least 100, maybe 150 to 250 berries with the normal taming speed. Okay, so now that you guys understand what you have to do, and you know you have to keep him safe and all that, I'm actually going to cut out most of this, and just make sure every now and then using you got to keep his topor up. You got to keep make him consume those nacro berries, or if you got drugs, shove those drugs in his mouth. He's got to stay asleep, and make sure he doesn't get hurt. I'm keeping him warm too. Hello, puppy. Go get your boo boo. Oh god, that's ugly. Alright, I'll be back once he's nearly tamed. Now, since this is going to take a while, as you can see, I've been here for like 5 minutes, and it's only gone up to about that much. I might start talking about the carnivores. Now, the carnivores, a little bit more, I don't know, you could consider them easier. But knocking them out is a lot more difficult because they're designed for killing, so you're probably going to die. So I'm debating what I want to try knock out first. Probably something small to show you, just to show you how it works. And then I'll try something big just for the end. Maybe. Because it really is a hassle trying to get down the big guys. But yeah, talking food-wise with the carnivores. Necroberries, again, the same thing, or necrotics. You got to force feed them into the animal to keep them asleep. And everything's exactly the same with taming. Absolutely everything, except for the foods. Now the foods, let me show you. Now generally you wouldn't be abandoning your trike, but since this is just a video on how to tame things, I'm going to leave Mr. Lamb here, and I'm going to let him protect... Trikey over here, and I'm going to set him to aggressive. So anyone who comes near here is now going to die. So, honestly, you don't... Stop following me, please. Honestly, you don't want to leave this guy alone, but for the sake of this video, do not copy what I'm doing. I'm going to leave him alone for a bit. And I know he's got enough torpor. He's got like 900 torpor, so I'm pretty sure by the time I get back, he should still be asleep. Okay, so when it comes to carnivores, you want to get... Normal food is raw meat. Raw meat is generally... It's okay. It's good for the carnivores. Now, the next question is whether or not you want to get prime meat. Now, personally, in your first 10, 20 levels, I wouldn't worry about the prime meat. The prime meat's very difficult to keep because the raw prime meat spoils very fast, and to actually get it, you don't really get that much when you harvest certain, I don't know, fish, animals. It doesn't really matter. Only certain fish and animals actually drop the prime meat, and it's a very rare drop. And once you have got it in your inventory, it spoils within about 3 minutes. Whereas raw meat, you get a lot more quantity of it, and it doesn't spoil as fast. But I figured out that once you get some prime meat, if you really want to go down the prime meat aisle, and the prime meat is the favorite food for every carnivore, you can cook it up, and in your inventory, it'll last at least about 40 minutes actually, instead of 3 minutes. And it even says in the thing here, wild carnivores like this meat a lot. So personally, if you have the prime meat, go with the prime meat, because that's going to make, obviously, like, the taming effectiveness is going to be massive. But generally, when you first start the game, you're not really going to have that much access to a lot of prime meat, so you're going to have to use just raw meat. And yeah, just to get the raw meat, you obviously have to kill something and just harvest it. So, let's just chuck this guy's torpor up a bit more. And it does stack, by the way. You can use as many necroberries as you want. Just remember that each necroberry brings up the torpor by 5, and each necrotic brings it up by 40. So if you instantly consume 2 of these, it'll slowly go up by 10. Okay. So, let's find a carnivore somewhere, and let's see if we've got some meat in here. Cool. Let's go find one. Okay, I've found one, and that is just the Dilo. They are the most easiest, pretty much, to knock out. They're like the very basic dudes. So if we check what level he is, he's level 19. Now he's following me, he's going to try to hit me. Now I could again use the slingshot, but since I've got the tech, I'm just going to knock him out in like probably one shot. He's very small, so his torpor should be really... There we go, he's out. So his torpor should be very low. It's about 156. That's really low. So chuck some raw meat in there, and then he'll start getting tamed. Soon as he feels hungry. And it's usually each time their food drops by about 50, and they eat a piece of meat, and whenever they eat, that's when the taming meter rises. There we go, cool. So that jumped up quite a bit, but that's because I've got the thing times 3 speed or something, I think. So remember this little key thing. The bigger animals take a lot more longer to tame, whereas the smaller ones take less time to tame. So this one's going to be tamed really fast. If I had prime meat here, you can see his taming effectiveness is going to drop quite a bit. It's already dropped by 6%, just because he isn't eating prime meat. But yeah, it's just dropped a bit more as well. But yeah, as I said, prime meat's a little bit difficult to get when you first start. It's not that it's difficult to get it; it's difficult to keep it because it goes off so fast. So yeah, let me get some more Medjo berries before this guy runs out, because I don't want him to lose taming effectiveness. I want him to be a big bad truck. Okay. Now where'd he go? Yeah, don't forget to not lose your Dilo. There he is. So I did a Dilo for just demonstration purposes because he's very easy. As you can see, his taming effectiveness is dropping quite fast. It'll drop even faster. Well, not faster. I mean, the more longer it takes to tame the dinosaur, the more it'll drop. So naturally, it's going to drop all the time. But if you feed it its favorite food, it will drop less fast. And as with the trike as well, you still got to watch out for other carnivores, because other carnivores usually try to go up to unconscious bodies and try to eat them. So his toe paw is really tiny, so I really got to monitor him a lot more, because he might just wake up out of nowhere. And same thing with the herbivores. If he runs out of food, the taming meter will start resetting. So don't want that to happen. This guy's nearly tamed already. Obviously not going to be this fast for you because I'm just upping the taming speed because it's how I play, and also for the purpose of the video, I don't want this to go on forever. So I Dilo typically maybe 30 minutes the most, I reckon. Without it really depends. The higher the level, the more time usually, and the more damage it takes, and the less the taming effectiveness. It all really does matter. So we'll call him Damo the Dilo. Cool. So that's our first carnivore. I'm not going to actually explain how to do all this stuff, because this is just a how to tame video. If you guys want to see anything different, just tell me. But he's now tamed. He's fully tamed, and just make sure we always keep some the type of food he eats in his inventory, because his food will always go down. He constantly needs to eat. So he's now following me, and he's gonna do stuff with me. So that's cool. You can go into the options and you can see all the shortcuts for all the different whistles that you can do, which basically you just hold E here, and most of the stuff here you can there's a shortcut for, like the different whistles and all that. I mean, mainly just like if you press U, it makes all of the dudes stop following you, and you press T on a certain dude, that one dude will follow you. If you press J, they'll all follow you. Like, it's you can easily figure it out just by searching up on Google Wiki, or you know. So let's see how this guy's going. Let me just make sure this guy is enabled to neutral, and he doesn't harvest dead bodies. I would hate if he started attacking this. Okay. Oop, we're out of Medjo berries. So the taming effectiveness started dropping. So we've just got to keep up the Medjo berries, and yeah, that should be it. Oh yeah, also guys, I forgot to mention that the stim berries, which are the white berries, actually you don't want to put them in the herbivore's inventory, and my T-Rex just did a big deuce. Anyway, you don't want to put them in the inventory because you can see in the description, the fairly common white berry can be eaten in a pinch to recover food, stamina, and lose torpidity, but it will dehydrate you. Essentially, if you were to put a bit of stimberry in here, and we remote use stimberries, you can see his toe paw rapidly decreasing. So he's going to wake up a lot faster. So you don't really want to use stim berries at all. So let's counteract that and use a few necrotics, and that should be fine. So you don't really ever want stim berries in there. Alright guys, it's nearly done. It's been about an hour real time. And I've got the taming speed ×3, so this would have taken a lot longer. And it's probably going to take you a lot longer if you're playing on a server, but if you're playing on single player, you can have your own settings, so it's all fine. Unless you're hosting the server. By the way, something interesting you guys might want to know. You can actually put the saddle on them as they're asleep. That's hilarious. I haven't actually tried just letting them get back up without taming them properly. And seeing if the saddle stays on them when they're wild. I might actually try that after. But yeah. Little fact. There we go, there we go. Booyah. He's tamed. Okay, awesome. Sully. Trick. I don't know. I have no imaginative names. Ah, that's hilarious. He's a level 66 and I'm a level 66. Hello. So yeah, we now have our own trike. He's tamed. We now have our own Dilo. He's tamed. This took me about an hour and a half real time to actually tame the trike, and he took about 3 minutes to tame. So that was hilarious. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. Hope you guys learned something and how to like tame them and all that stuff. And to get the saddles, in case you're wondering, you gotta level up. Your first saddle is a Fioma saddle, which is really not recommended. It's just a big fat pig. But the trike saddle is like you get at level 25 or something. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.